One of the most sustainable methods for building. Smaller
So everything's
diameter,
used?
shorter length. So everything is used.
With Shaun Cullen today. Shaun, you've been with Pole Yard for 10 years, eh?
10 years.
Started at the counter and then worked all the way through. There isn't anything about poles and wood and everything that you don't know. Or you're still learning?
There's always more to learn, but I'd like to believe I know enough for now.
Well, I'm going to ask you a couple of probing questions because the issue with me is everyone's gone like recycled plastic, reuse. You know, I love the natural look of wood,
Yes.
but how is wood sustainable? I mean, all I know is we've got to look after the forest. So tell me a little bit about the source of Pole Yard's wood.
Sure. So timber is actually rated as one of the most sustainable methods for building.
Okay.
Because the timber that we sell and that is sold in the open market is forested specifically with the intent of being regrown, being harvested and being regrown.
So there's specific forests
Yes.
grown,
Yeah.
which you then, was it harvest or chop down?
So
or-
you get, it depends on what kind of species of timber you're talking about.
Oh,
So
okay.
our latter, for example, are Eucalyptus grandis, which is an import from Australia. It's an invasive species that you can't just plant around anymore. You have to have
Exactly,
a
yeah.
forestry license
Yeah.
in order to grow it in South Africa. And that they use a method called coppice reduction. So essentially it's one major stalk of the tree and there's lots of little offshoots. And all those little offshoots are pruned and grown to certain sizes in order to get certain poles. So latter are a byproduct of coppice reduction. It's basically a small little shoot that comes off the side
Yes,
of the tree.
yes.
They cut it off, they strip it, they clean it, and that's how we get our latter.
So how quickly would one of these lots, let's say that size,
Yes.
be ready by? I mean, if we does it just keep regenerating?
It has a lifespan, but if it's looked after properly and forested properly, it can go for an exceptionally long time.
Really? Eh?
Yeah.
So it's reused all the time, the same
Yes,
plant.
yes, that specifically is with eucalyptus. With pine,
Okay.
you can't run any
Okay.
kind of coppice reduction. That is, you grow it, you get things called thinnings, where they will thin out the forestry in order
Yes.
to allow more space for the main tree, the saw log trees to grow, and so there's less competition for resources and sunlight and water.
Okay.
And then your thinnings are turned into your pine poles, so they're your smaller
So everything's
diameter,
used?
shorter length. So everything is used.
Everything is
Everything
used.
is used.
Okay, so let's go through the types of, where you're talking about pine and eucalyptus. Eh?
Pine and eucalyptus are the two main forested species in South Africa.
Okay.
Neither of them are from South Africa indigenously.
Right.
Like I said, eucalyptus is from Australia. The pine, there's many hybrids that you get at the moment that are grown specifically for key features like resistance to bugs or to funguses or to any kind of infection, as well as fast growing and relatively straight.
Okay.
But original pine in South Africa was radiata pine, and that comes from a very small part of the United States and is originally called Monterey pine. And somehow it made its way here, and it's been forested and is some of the most sought after pine in South Africa.
It's incredible. I'm learning so much. You know, I just thought, okay, it's a foreign species. You can't grow it here. It's just invasive. It's going to take out everybody's gardens. But it's actually controlled.
Yes, it's very much a controlled, forested environment. There is also the FSC, which is the Forestry Stewardship Council.
Right.
They're a global organization that ensure the sustainability of forests and longevity of forests that are used, be it for paper, pulp, structural timber, poles, any kind of consumer timber byproduct or tree byproduct is, if it falls under that umbrella, it's coming from a safe and reliable source.
Right. So the watchdog bodies from an environmental perspective to make sure that you're keeping to the bargain, to the contract, to
Absolutely,
making sure.
and so much so that to the point where you can often trace a bundle of timber back to a tree stump.
Back to its source. Eh?
Back to that specific tree stump. So it's really, really well watched. It is very easy to get bought into buying exotic woods, which are often pulled from
hardwoods from all over the world.
All over the world. They are forested and sort of gutted from rainforest where there is little to no control.
Yes.
They're coming from very impoverished communities. The guys are doing what they have
It's
to
the last
survive.
tree left up, I think, heading down the river, and that was it. Eh?
That's it.
That's short-term thinking.
It's short-term thinking, and it's massively damaging to the planets, and the environment. So it's really important to keep to what you know is sustainable and specifically grown for that purpose.
Shaun, I just want to say I've learned a hell of a lot. I mean, I really thought, you're cutting down a tree that's, destroying the planet in its simplest form, and now just to find out about how sustainable it is and how you can keep reusing the same trees. I mean, especially on the eucalyptus side. So I really appreciate you taking me through the process and showing me how it's done.
You're more than welcome. It's been a pleasure.